Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! You guys truly are making all of my dreams come true as a podcast host. I never imagined that this podcast would go on to become so well received by thousands of Descendants of Zombies fans who have saw something special in every video that was ever created here. Thank you so much for being with me from the very first video that was ever uploaded here, because if you ever wanted to believe in magic, I think this podcast gives you a reason to believe in magic than perhaps ever before, because you do know that magic is real. And you're saying to yourself, hey, Jonathan Clarke, the only reason you're saying that is because everything that you see on TV you think is real. From Disney Channel to pro wrestling to movies. Well, that may be true, but that's what really brings this YouTube channel to life. I mean, I could be one of those boring podcast hosts who comes on here and says, this is never going to happen, and then months later it does happen, and then you're left at a loss for words. Well, Jonathan Clarke told me this was not going to happen, and it eventually does. It's better if I just come on here and tell you that this is going to happen, because it really has a way of happening every single time that we doubt ourselves. Every single time that we feel like we're left in the dark with so many unanswered questions about the futures of both Descendants of Zombies, both franchises, all of our questions become more clearer with answers. Zombies 5 is coming in 2027, and wasn't that what I was saying all along? And you're saying to yourself, hey, Jonathan Clarke, the more that I think about it, you were telling us that Zombies 5 was coming in 2027. Perhaps we should all subscribe here. Well, I would love for you to subscribe here, because I would love for you to be a part of something so special, to give you a podcast that's actually dedicated to uploading videos about Descendants of Zombies, while it may be for the rest of my life. I've had no regrets, and honestly, guys, the more that I think about it, I would love to either be President of the United States or to host a Descendants of Zombies podcast for the rest of my life. And you're saying to yourself, President of the United States, Jonathan? Do you really think that you could win President of the United States and get elected into the White House? Well, the way that I see it is, I have the love and support of every fan of Descendants of Zombies, so why not? You only have one life to live, so because you're only ever going to live once, you might as well set your sights so high enough to be President of the United States or the host of a podcast that's dedicated to uploading videos about Descendants of Zombies. Because somebody has got to prepare you for a zombie apocalypse, or the apparent alien invasion, which I was following all last year, because apparently there was this reported alien mothership on the way to Earth to kill us all, and I wanted to be that one guy to prepare you, to give you strategical tips to prepare yourself and your loved ones from being abducted and being beamed up by aliens. And there's actually a funny story that goes with that, because I was this kid, when I was like 12 years old, I always would spend time out on my lawn every night, and my mom would open up the living room window, and she would say I was crazy, trying to convince me to come inside, and I'd be like, Mom, close the windows and doors, I'm trying to get abducted by aliens. Because I would have this habit of watching these alien abduction TV shows, and the X-Files, and the Outer Limits, and the Twilight Zone, dun, 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 dun. And I always wanted to, see if that was actually true. So I would spend a lot of time trying to get abducted by aliens. While I may have never succeeded at doing that, at least one of my dreams came true, and I was able to host this podcast to encourage people that things like Descendants 5 and Zombies 5 were going to happen. Because when Descendants of Zombies first premiered, we never imagined that Descendants of Zombies would see 3, 4, 5 installments, 5 chapters, so many beautiful dolls, so much merch released, and so much revenue generated and attention, because this blew up because of how much you guys loved it so much with all of your hearts. So the one thing I wanted to do was give you something to believe in more than you believed in your entire lives, because the thing is, there are so many stupid critics on YouTube who are trying to kind of take away your dreams and your hopes for Descendants of Zombies. I've watched so many podcasts that often review and criticize Descendants of Zombies for the better part of, dare I say, 10 years. And nobody really has had with them that greater appreciation for Descendants of Zombies quite like this guy has. Now, that may have came in the form of me believing everything that I saw on Disney Channel and with professional sports was real, because when it came to a steel cage match, I thought these two wrestlers like Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage were going to have this real steel cage match, and they actually hated each other, and they were going to have the ultimate brawl for the WWF Championship. It may have came in the form of me thinking that vampire TV shows were always real, and there was no way of defeating the vampire, but, consequently enough, I always wanted to be this action hero, kind of like Van Helsing. My job, my life, my curse has always been to vanquish evil. I always loved that line from the Van Helsing movie where he said, my job, my life, my curse is to vanquish evil. And ever since he took out one of Dracula's brides named Vera, I always wanted to be just like him. So I always had this dream of being an action hero on a Disney Channel movie or TV show. And now I think my chances are greater than ever before because, again, I have the love and support of every fan of Descendants of Zombies. So my dream of having a dream of wanting to drive Transylvania horses through the forests of Transylvania in the nighttime sky, full of fog, could become more of a reality than ever before. An altercation with Dracula where I would kick Dracula's butt in a fight to the death over somebody like Meg Donnelly or Freya Skye could become more of a reality than ever before. You guys know there's been over 200 adaptations of vampire stories told over the years, dating all the way back to at least the 1600s, and zombies go all the way back to the 1800s too. There are so many legendary stories associated with vampires and zombies that have been told, and I've just loved being a part of it. And I do apologize. I've been suffering from a common cold over the last couple of days, and it's beyond me how I've been able to produce this show. I think I'm suffering from a zombie infection, although all my blood work comes back routinely, and nothing ever comes back negative, so I should be good to go, and I should be able to make it through this podcast. But I do apologize for that. I've been suffering from the common cold. Hopefully I'll make it through, and hopefully this video will make it out into the algorithm tonight and get like 50,000 likes and 50,000 subscribers, putting me one step closer to realizing one of my biggest dreams, which is to surpass Mr. Beast and become the greatest content creator of all time, with 458.1 million subscribers. Because 458 million subscribers, leaving it at just that, is not going to put me past Mr. Beast. I need precisely 458.1 million. And you're saying to yourself, hey, Jonathan Clarke, 458.1 million subscribers is like a lot of subscribers. That means that everybody in the world would have to subscribe to your YouTube channel. Do you think everybody in the world is really going to subscribe to your YouTube channel? Again, you guys have been with me from the very beginning, and there is nothing that I think is impossible. Every dream that you've ever had can become a reality. All you've got to do is believe in yourself. That's why I've always wanted to campaign to get my own Descendants action figure or doll or even teddy bear, because I think it would be the coolest thing in the world to record your own action phrases for a teddy bear where you would say things like, believe in yourself. Descendants of Zombies is going to happen. Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! And even with how crazy I was to create that intro, which became everybody's favorite YouTube intro of all time, the more that you think about it, everything you say is really true. Because there's never enough inspiration offered for somebody to realize their dream. There's never enough encouragement offered in this lifetime. So if you can give somebody incentive, you can show them that incentive they forever and always wanted to be shown and need, to demonstrate that kindness really does take a person further in this lifetime. The more of a significant impact you can have on somebody's life, that makes a whole world of difference. And that is exactly what Descendants of Zombies did for me. When I saw these beautiful stars, I wanted to give them more of a chance than anybody ever did. I don't even think Dove Cameron wanted to give this new cast of Descendants more of a chance than anybody, because she was always doubting it. She was always saying there was never a chance of her reprising her role as Mal, even with how many people wanted her to. You know, I just want to put it out there that if I was an executive producer behind Descendants of Zombies, I would do everything in my power to bring Dove Cameron back. I would call Dove Cameron like every night, and I would say, Dove, what have I got to do to bring you back because millions of people love you? What have I got to pay you? What have I got to do to make you happy? Because the thing is, there are never enough executive producers at Disney that go out of their way to try to really blow things out of proportion. And I think that if you blow Descendants of Zombies out of proportion like it's currently being done with it, the thing is there are more magical opportunities and really more of a chance to bring a story to life. There has never been a day passed by since I first discovered the power of Descendants of Zombies and how passionate you guys were that I never wanted to give you the best. I wanted to give you the best reviews. And I just want to put it out there that regardless of who leaves these franchises or who we see involved with these franchises in the very near future, you guys will always have me as a dedicated voice of Descendants of Zombies. While you may never have Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson to rely on because of how they feel about how they may have been treated in the past or how Descendants of Zombies took a very different direction, you guys will always have me, because once you win the hearts of every fan of Descendants of Zombies, you truly got something to be special, to be really grateful for. And it's something that I've held with me for forever and always. Because if I couldn't give you the best podcast then I didn't want to be the host of a podcast at all. You know, one of the most difficult challenges for a podcast host to do is never being able to say what he feels or what he's going through. And I was never able to do that when I was the co-host of all of the shows about professional sports, entertainment topics. I could never tell you guys what was really going on and how I really felt. And now that I've kind of branched out on my own, I can perceive this podcast for the way that I want to perceive it, and I want to, create. I always wanted to create something special. Let me put it to you this way. I always wanted to create something special, and I always wanted to be a part of something special, and I finally had the chance to. Now, that may have came in the form of me being a really big fan of the Power Rangers and thinking Sailor Moon was the greatest Japanese animated TV series of all time, which I did. And I always wanted to hang out with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and, go for a ride in the Scooby-Doo van. And to be honest with you guys, I thought those dreams that I had were really cool. If there ever was a guy who sat in front of his TV and watched Saturday morning cartoons with a bowl of cereal, then you should look no further than Jonathan Clarke, because I saw something special in that. I was so excited to see the latest episode of the animated Spider-Man TV series, which I know only aired from like 1994 to 1997, but it was a really cool animated TV series, one of the best that Spider-Man ever created, and had the chance to be a part of. I've had the chance to be a part of so many wonderful moments in entertainment, and I've had the chance to share with you my insights and my predictions about where I thought they were headed. Little did I know it would become something so special, such as Descendants of Zombies, to sit here and have the chance to share with you my story. I never imagined this YouTube channel would be so well received. People would forever and always be hitting my subscribe button, because every night there is somebody watching these videos who always hits my subscribe button. They might think I'm the craziest guy ever, but the thing is, they're always hitting the subscribe button. I think it's really cool when you can offer something special. Because let's be honest, if I was one of these boring podcast hosts that will kind of just come on here and tell you how he felt about Descendants of Zombies, nobody's going to subscribe to that. You have to be just as funny and just as fun as the fans of Descendants of Zombies. I mean, I think that believing the chances of a vortex coming to Earth to kill us all and an alien invasion and being victims of it, that's what makes this channel so cool. So if you are a believer in this kind of stuff just like I am, I think you're going to probably want to subscribe here. This could be the YouTube channel for you. This summer, I saw everybody be so passionate about Freya Sky. And it didn't take me very long to realize why everybody was so passionate about Freya Sky. It had everything to do with Freya's appreciation for life. And I saw that in Freya, and I saw that in you guys. You guys became forever supportive of Freya. You saw something special in Freya, and you've been supporting her ever since. And I would like to take this opportunity just to speak to the Freya Sky fandom for a little bit. You guys are amazing. Let's forget about the Descendants of Zombies fans for a moment. Let's just talk specifically about the Freya Sky community for a moment. You guys are amazing, and there is never a moment that you don't cease my imagination. You guys are truly incredible for how supportive you've been of Freya, and I would like you guys to know just how special of an offering you give to Freya. You give her more of a chance to perform. She is a bigger star in this world because of you, and her star has a chance of shining brighter than ever before because of how much you believed in her. Please never quit on her. Always love her with all of your heart, because your love and support and your passion for people like Freya really have taken her further. It truly blows my mind how this girl is only like 17 years old. And the thing to appreciate about her is that she is writing such beautiful lyrics and putting such beautiful lyrics to melodies. And every single night before like 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm listening to Freya Sky's EP Stardust. By the way, if you haven't downloaded it or bought it, head over to FreyaSky.com. Purchase it before I die of a zombie apocalypse, and I promise you, you will have no regrets. The EP may only have 5 songs on it, but every one of those 5 songs offer something special. The one thing I noticed about the reaction videos for Freya's songs were that you guys felt so relatable. You could often relate to the music, and that's what I really appreciated about it, especially the song Silent Treatment, because if you notice anything about the Silent Treatment songs, there are far more people who felt connected to that and felt a part of something special because of what that song was telling them, because of a certain situation they may have been going through in their own life, and that's something that I really appreciated about Freya. These songs may have never had anything to do with Freya herself. It had everything to do with how Freya was just trying to relate to you. So many people have tried to relate to us over the years and have drastically failed, but I think each one these Descendants of Zombie stars have done a fabulous job. And I think that once you give somebody like Kylie a chance, Kylie is going to explode in popularity. I mean, The Masked Singer being a part of season 14 is one way of looking at it. And being a part of this new action animated feature called Zack Power, which is inspired by one of the top-selling children's books of this generation coming to theaters in 2027, is just one way of looking at it. But when you think about how far the girl's come, how strong she is, how much love and support you can give to her and show to her, that's what really makes a difference. That's what makes her a stronger person. I mean, Kylie Cantrell is honestly one of the strongest people in the world. So I think that people who choose to criticize Kylie aren't really presenting her with much of a chance. But if we present Kylie with more of a chance, that gives us more of a reason to believe in and support her along with all your favorite Descendants of Zombie stars, because as I've said many times here on the show, everybody has a light and everybody eventually does find that light. And the thing is, no matter who we are, we all have a story about our favorite character and how our favorite character touched our hearts in so many unbelievable ways. Either from the moments they created because of Descendants of Zombies and the moments that we had a chance to be a part of and really share in, because I've had the chance to share in something so special with you guys over the last 10 years. I would love to be a part of these franchises for forever. And I know that you guys have seen me, talk about my video game collection, which has often been on display in many of my videos. You've heard me talk about how I think pro wrestling is real. But that just gives you a chance to get to know me for who I am. Because I think there are far too many YouTube content creators out there who don't give you a chance to get to know them for who they are. And I think that's what creates an understanding between you yourself as the host of a show and your audience, is giving them the content that they've often appreciated. And that's what's so cool about being the host of a show, is that you can relate to people and you can create all this wonderful, relatable content, which I really had the time of my life doing. Thank you so much for having chosen this YouTube channel time and time again as your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel that has ever been created, that's ever streamed a video, because there are more great conversations coming from where this conversation came from. I have so much respect. I know you guys have so much respect in your hearts for people like Kylie and Freya, so you guys have deserved nothing but the best reviews to ever be compiled or ever put together about your favorite stars, and I just wanted to be a part of that, because I knew nobody else was ever going to go out of their way to create something special for you guys, because most of these videos that we're watching pretty much are comprised of AI that really have never made any sense to anybody who may have ever been a fan of this product. But when you take the AI out of a video for Descendants of Zombies and you actually sit behind a microphone and you review Descendants of Zombies for what it was worth, if you review it for what it was worth, that's what makes it so special for thousands of people who love Descendants of Zombies with all their heart. So I would just like to take the final few moments that I have on the show this afternoon to say thank you to everybody who has been with me from the very first video that was ever uploaded here, because you being here has given me so much incentive and inspiration to keep on creating, to keep on moving forward. Because every single time I see the subscriber count increasing on this YouTube channel and the views going up all the time, that's what makes it so worth it for me as a YouTuber. I've been on YouTube for over almost 30 years. And it's been an incredible ride. It's been an incredible journey that I felt that I've been on. Traveling through the forests of Oregon, being a member of the city of Seabrook, and seeing all these characters kind of coexist. It's been so fun. And just being here to help you make sense of Descendants of Zombies, I've never looked back, and I've never had any regrets. Because being a voice for this niche has become the greatest honor of my life. Thank you so much for allowing me to have represented you as your voice of Descendants of Zombies. I look forward to an incredible future and to be a part of that future with each and every one of you. If you are somebody who has never subscribed to a Jonathan Clarke video, I highly recommend that you do, because this could be the YouTube channel for you. I would like to say thank you to every die-hard fan of Kylie Cantrell and Freya Sky out there in this really big universe, because even with how big this universe seems to be on times, there's always that one Descendants of Zombies fan or fan of Kylie Cantrell and Freya Sky who will forever support you with so much undeniable love and support. And I want you guys to know that that same love and support is being given to you on this YouTube channel and shown to you on every video that's ever been created here. Thank you so much for having made this your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time. And as always, thank you so much for watching this video and being with me from the very first video that was ever uploaded. While we may never know what the future seems to have in store for all fans of Descendants of Zombies, the conversation is at an all-time high, because there is so much PR happening for the stars individually, and for these franchises, and I'm just so excited to be a part of this with each and every one of you, because the way I see it is that this story is far from over. It never has to have been over. It should never have to be over, and as long as we can encourage people that this story is far from over, that's what's so special about being the host of this show. Thank you so much for forever and always choosing this YouTube channel time and time again, to have made this YouTube channel your favorite Descendants and Zombies YouTube channel of all time, and I hope you've had just as much fun watching this video as I've had creating them for you. With over 950 plus videos, almost 1,000 videos, having been archived for you guys on this YouTube channel, there truly is something special for every fan of Descendants and Zombies to take away from this channel and its presentation. Thank you so much for having chosen this YouTube channel as your favorite Descendants and Zombies YouTube channel of all time, and thank you so much for having watched this video.